we're going to talk about the Dynamite ending, which was the Elite reuniting together to close the show. And you guys know that I've talked about this so many damn times in the past. I've said there used to be a time where every episode of Dynamite would close in a way where you would get excited for the next week. And it seems like for a very long time, it wasn't happening. Then we get this whole thing with Blackpool Combat Club. And Blackpool Combat Club, after this incredible trios main event, by the way, Blackpool Combat Club going face-to-face with Hangman Page. And just to end the show, what do you get? You get Young Bucks and Kenny coming to the back of Hangman Page. Literally, this is what we wanted for so long. And for so long, we've been asking for episodes to end in a big way, and that is exactly what we got here. I honestly was super satisfied to see the way that they ended this match and the way that they ended the show, because now it's like you have to watch Dynamite next week. You gotta watch Dynamite next week. Maybe we're going to find out even more with Rampage, which obviously would be nice. But the biggest thing that AEW has been missing for the last year is those really big endings that are like, yo, like there's a story going on. This is what's happening, and you gotta wait till next week to find out. And this is something that WWE has been doing really good with lately since Triple H has taken over, and it's something that Tony Khan wasn't doing good with, but tonight was really solid, and I'm really glad that AEW did that. And most importantly, I'm glad that AEW has found a way to really get people excited about Blackpool Combat Club as heels, because it's such a strange dynamic. But obviously, you know, there was 4 guys and 3 guys in the ring. There were 7 guys total. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about Wheeler Yuta, Cesaro, Claudio, and Jon Moxley. You have those 3. You had Hangman, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega. We didn't see Bryan Danielson. A lot of people have been wondering, what's going on with Bryan Danielson? Is he going to be a bad guy just like the rest of BCC? We still don't know. Now there's a storyline here that I want to see more of, right? Now I want to see more of Blackpool Combat Club as heels, and I want to see the Elite and Hangman Page as the ultimate baby faces. Guys, I don't know what the hell just happened with AEW, but they just did something incredible with this, because now we're going to get that reveal of Bryan probably being the bad guy, right? We're going to see Bryan and Kenny and all of these guys in the ring together. It's going to be absolutely insane. Lights out booking. And this is all that we're asking for. This is all that I've been asking for as somebody who talks about AEW, as somebody who talks about WWE. I just ask for storylines. I just ask for big storylines with the big finishes and the big moments. I get it. Like, I love AEW, the fact that they have good wrestling on their show, but I'm not asking for much more than, hey, put the good wrestling with the good storylines. And these were things that AEW were doing before. Like, I'm not asking AEW to do something new, right? And I think that's kind of the biggest thing that annoys me is, like, I read sometimes people's comments, and I'm not asking for AEW to reinvent the wheel. I'm asking AEW to just drive the damn thing, because they know what the hell they're doing. Tony Khan knows what he's doing, and I've been very happy in the last, I would say 12 weeks, AEW has been way more storyline-centric, but they were still missing that really big story that just gets people amped up. And I think this was one of those stories where this is the beginning of the story where I think people will be ultimately really excited about it. And yeah, honestly, that was just like a really cool way to end Dynamite. I did not expect that whatsoever. I think most importantly, what's really cool too is with AEW ending it this way, not only can we get excited about, okay, where does Bryan Danielson fit into all of this, but potentially, what about Blood and Guts? Right? Like, can there be a Blood and Guts match here? Is that something that could become a possibility? I think of these things and I ask these things because we know that WWE and AEW both do the War Game stuff. They just brand them differently. And the last time that AEW was in Detroit, my city, was when they did Blood and Guts. We know that they're going to be in Detroit for May 10th. While they haven't announced it, maybe they come back and do Blood and Guts again in Detroit. Maybe it's a thing that they start doing in Detroit every year. And maybe this is the big storyline that we get. Maybe this is the big match that we get. I think this could be really huge for AEW. And most importantly, if I'm AEW, I really focus on a way to make this a massive feud for the year. You have tag team matches you can do. Singles matches, you obviously have Bryan and potentially Hangman. You could run Bryan and Kenny. I mean, you can do so much stuff. And with Rampage kind of struggling with viewership, you can start doing some of these matches on Rampage. You could do some of these matches on Dynamite. You could do some of these matches on the rumored Saturday night show that's potentially coming out. What I'm saying is, because of this feud, you can create a very big storyline. And I think one thing that would be really interesting, and it's kind of hard to describe this without having it mapped out completely, but maybe the idea of AEW doing like a Civil War storyline could be really huge. And I think that would be really fun, and I think a lot of people would be interested in that. We're seeing a lot of details in AEW within their factions, right? There a lot of factions have their own thing. We saw it with the Dark Order, and it's kind of a strange thing because Hangman wrestled earlier in the night with the Dark Order, by the way, but now he's home with the Elite. Where does that leave the Dark Order? Maybe the Dark Order is another layer to the story that could be really good. My point that I'm making is Dynamite had an incredible main event match for the Trios Championships, which was House of Black. We saw the House of Black, and we saw Jericho Appreciation Society, and then obviously we saw the Elite. When you have a match end, that great of a match, by the way, when you have that match end and, okay, champions retain, you're really not expecting anything to go down. So that's why I feel like AEW tonight did something really special. I want to see more of that. I think if AEW does more of this, it's not only a big win for AEW, but it's a big win for wrestling. And look at what AEW, and it just makes you think, like, there's so much that could be said here, but look at CM Punk. Where does CM Punk sit with all of this, right? CM Punk could be coming back. Maybe CM Punk joins Blackpool Combat Club. I know this sounds crazy and maybe it sounds far-fetched, but what if CM Punk joined Blackpool Combat Club? Because of this feud and this storyline, that is why I want to see more. This is what we needed from AEW. Do you guys get it? Do you guys get why I say this is why I've been asking AEW to leave us with the big moments? Because then your head starts wandering about potential ideas. Bryan Danielson, where does he fit? Can CM Punk possibly join in? I mean, clearly this was articulated for a while. I think the talent have known for a while that this was going to be a plan. Maybe CM Punk fits right in. My point that I'm trying to make is this was excellent. Excellent. Finally, AEW has a big storyline in the works. It seems like a damn while since they've had something this big. It seems like a very long time. Seems like a very, very long time. And you know Tony Khan's looking at those ratings, and maybe those ratings go up. We'll see what happens. But, dude, I'm so geeked about this. Literally, I don't know what else to say.